Natalia, how do people show that they care for others in Ukraine?
Shelley, we usually do that with actions. I mean, you probably realized that we have a lot of words, but we tend to use other ways to express the feelings, and that is also true about expressing support, care, and empathy. Um, Actions speak louder than words, and that is probably what can be said about Ukrainians. I mean, when something minor happens, we might not show too much empathy. On the other hand, we might say something like, oh, come on, get your act together. That's no big deal. You can handle it, and so on.
Oh, that's quite different. Yeah, here in the UK, we probably wouldn't say that because it would be considered like you were diminishing the person's problems if you encouraged them to just get over it. Have you noticed that that's something quite different when you've been traveling and when you've lived abroad?
Definitely, definitely. Whenever something, even a minor thing happens, and you get a lot of support expressed with words, with intonation, and oh, you poor thing, I feel for you. Oh, that must have been horrible, and so on. But when something really bad happens, a Ukrainian would cancel all their plans and rush to help a friend and do everything possible to support. And it's also about the way we care, we express care and support, and the way we treat our guests. We are very open. We open our house. We are very hospitable. Whenever we have guests, it's about a feast, and it's different. I know that it's very different in Britain.
How is it different? I mean, I imagine that a host who has a Ukrainian guest would cook for them. How is it different in Ukraine? Is it bigger? Is it a more elaborate meal?
Yes, definitely, definitely. Even when we are just having people over, let's say it's not a big holiday, it's not an anniversary, but we are just having people over, we would definitely have so much more on the table, which is, again, just the way we do it. That's our tradition. It's neither bad nor good.
Ah, so you over cater. You put on more food than anybody can hope to eat because that's how you show that you care.
And that is true. I see it's changing. I mean, it's especially with younger generations and people living in big cities. This part is changing. And also the way we express empathy is changing as well. We've got books on emotional intelligence translated now. There are more and more people attending communication skills training, nonviolent communication training. And this is slowly getting integrated into our vocabulary as well. And we tend to be more supportive, especially younger people. And again, those who live in big cities and who have access to those trainings. So it is changing, but slowly.
So, do you mean that people are starting to show care about small things? Things that 20 years ago people might have said, oh, it's nothing, just get over it. And now they're starting to comment on those things in a supportive way by using phrases that they've imported from other languages or cultures.
Well, of course, because we definitely have the vocabulary to express that. We just don't have the habit. And now we are bringing in that habit. And since people are becoming more interested, as I mentioned, the communication skills training and also psychology, and we care, we learn more and we start caring more about the people's feelings. So this way we are getting closer to, let's say, the British, because I've noticed how expressive you are and how you show empathy. That is so different.
That's interesting because we, as a nation, British people have a reputation of being quite buttoned up and stoic, and we don't show our feelings. Or that's what I thought. But if you've experienced that when you've visited here, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong or maybe something's changed. That's interesting.
That's interesting, but it also could be about, you know, the like daily encounters and the surface thing, and then the deep things. Maybe you don't reveal your like deep feelings. You wouldn't wear them on your sleeve, but you're conscious and aware of the feelings of others around you, and you do not diminish the emotions of others.
Oh, Natalia, this has been so interesting. It's been so great to speak to someone like you who's from Ukraine but has travelled so widely. Your insights have been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me, Shelley. It was a pleasure. And I hope this helps people to connect and to understand each other better.